G'day legends, and welcome back to another video, and this is the follow-up to the Carrera Q&A that was held here in Austria at Carrera World on the 6th of September. It was a lot of fun. Firstly, a massive thank you to Carrera for inviting me for their first of its kind live Q&A. I believe you're going to see some more of this in the future from them, but it was a great first attempt and I was very privileged to be a part of that. And a massive thank you to you that did tune in. It was a lot of fun. Carrera World is amazing. If you are here in Austria, it's right near Salzburg. Please go visit it. And of course, if you haven't seen the original live stream, I will link it below in the comments and this video description. It is worth a check out. Of course, it's on Carrera's socials. Please follow their socials as well. And put on the closed captions. The audio is a little bit hit and miss, which will be fixed in future Carrera lives. But let's dive headfirst into question number one. So for question number one, we have tyres. Now, if you are new to Carrera, if you've been a Carrera collector for a long time, there is an issue with their tyres over time. They do break down, some get flat spots, some completely change shape and deteriorate, and some even lose some of the oil that's inside the tyre itself. So it was worth the question to Carrera, has this been looked at, is there a replacement? And we got a very good answer. So the answer to the old tyres, they are a natural rubber, hence why they do break down if not being used over time. So the old tyres are a natural rubber compound. There is a new tyre, which I did not know. It's been used over the last couple of years. I believe it's a TPP solution, so it is a synthetic rubber. Now, any new car moving forward, so new mould, not new livery, any new car mould like the Lancia, that will wear the new tyres, which is exciting. Of course, they would have done some research behind compound breakdown, hence the change. So it would be good to see in the future how this does perform. In regards to some older tyres or older cars that wear the old tyres, if they do get re-released in new livery, so an older mould, it doesn't automatically state that they're going to have the new tyres. Now, there is a caveat to this. If they're a part of a range that covers multiple different cars, like the GT range, and they wear the same rim size, tyre size, well, they would have gone forward and updated the mould for that tyre and that rim to wear the new formula, which is the TPP. So you won't see every old car with the new tyre. You will see every new mould with the new tyre, but you will see some replacements in the future. I'm hoping over time they do, I guess, fan out the old tyre and work with the new tyre across the old range, but we will see. But there you go, there is a new tyre. Of course, you probably would have been already using it with some of the last models, new model releases over the last couple of years, and we just didn't really know. So there was the answer for the tyres. There was a follow-up to that, performance tyres. Now, of course, I'm huge on racing. I love racing. Carrera did state multiple times that 95% of their customers are the people who buy the sets, might race with the Carrera tyres on them, they might play with the cars. They are a toy company, so 95% of their buyers are buying it for the toy purposes, which I fully understand that. We do need, in my opinion, the two big companies, Carrera and the big S, to survive. And if that means they're selling to the toy world more than the hobbyists, well, that's okay with me, because at least we know they're going to be around for the long time to support the hobby industry itself. But in saying that, they have tried a performance tyre before. It didn't really work out for them. It is a business. I guess it wasn't worth them updating every car with tyres. He did break it down. Andreas did say it does come down to cost. Of course, a lot of cars wear different size tyres, so we've got different molds, and it just doesn't make sense. Second to that, the aftermarket category for Carrera is huge. You've got a lot of great companies, Super Tyres, who do really good aftermarket tyres for Carrera, which I did test myself. They are a really good replacement. You've got Gecko, who do full chassis changes for your 124 cars. If you haven't checked out Gecko, please do. So if you do want to go racing with Carrera, you can. You just have to go aftermarket, which I guess does make a lot of business sense. The next question was Japanese cars. If you are new to the hobby, there is a big Japanese push at the moment. There is a JDM car being released by nearly every manufacturer, which is good to see. It's different. It's exciting. I did use the Japanese question as I guess an open-ended question for a series. If you haven't seen the Japanese series from Carrera, it is the Initial D series. That caught me by surprise a couple of years ago. It was a really good release. I'm huge on Japanese cars. The question did surround about another, I guess, set or style like that being released, whether it's Japanese, whether it's Euro, and the answer of the day is never say never. Now, that did work really well for the market that it was sold to, Japan and China. It was part of the China side of Carrera. That was their idea to do that, and that was the market they chose to sell to. Now, I know in Australia, we wanted to get them. We did get them in various different ways, and they did sell very well to my knowledge. I do have the set, it's incredible, but it would be great to see that released again, whether it's Euro, whether it's American, but a set like that where a risk was taken was really, really cool. Now, I do have a follow-up to that. Not only did I ask the questions, I had some ideas behind the scenes. Now, I have sent Andreas an email with some liveries that I believe would work really well with the R32 mold. Now, I'm a huge JDM fan. The R32 currently in Carrera has wore the blue and the black to my knowledge. It can wear a lot more liveries if they look deep into it. So I've sent them some Australian liveries, which I'll put them up on screen now. Of course, it wouldn't be very hard to guess what liveries I'm talking about. And I've asked them to look at some worldwide liveries that might, in your country, make sense. So I have sent 6 liveries in total. Hopefully I get an answer. If I do, I will update you, but it would be good to see them use those Japanese molds more than just for Initial D, because they are just sitting there. I was in Andreas's office. I did see the R33 GTR plus numerous other cars, which I can't talk about, but very exciting to see. And it is really just sitting there. So it'd be great to see if we get something else coming out for the R32. But that was just my little push. Let me know, was that a great idea? If you've got any ideas, let me know, because it's not just my show, it's your show. And I could happily pass on questions and answers to Carrera on your behalf. So one of the best questions I think asked of the night, I wanted to know, you guys wanted to know, Carrera Digital combined with analog. So you get to choose, do you want to drive digital or analog from the one CU? Now, we do know that there is aftermarket products that allow us to run analog digital, but will Carrera do that in-house? The base answer is no. It was pretty much a straight up no. I don't believe they were even thinking about it. Have we got them thinking about it? Who knows? Another good answer was they want to make sure that their sets are compatible for as long as they can be. Evolution gets released, you can use all the Evolution parts and pieces moving forward, and digital, so on and so forth. They're future-proofing it. So if you buy a set today, it's not running tomorrow with the new stuff. It's future-proofing their product. But I will say this, in one line from the conversations I had off camera, and I won't say much more, is just look forward to the future from Carrera. That's all I'm going to say on that one. There is another digital question coming up, but look forward to the future. The next question was prototypes. Now, there is a movement at the moment. The last couple of years, we're seeing a lot of behind the scenes when it comes to every brand. They are showing us new factories, new cars, races that are coming up. And my question to Carrera was, can we see something that we haven't seen before from you, which is mostly prototypes or any really behind the scenes news. And I was surprised when I got there were 3 prototypes of the Lancia Beta, and there was a reason why he brought out 3, because all 3 were different. The headlights are all different on the 3 of them. They had to do that to suit the liveries, and they are very big on detail when it comes to Carrera. And the rears did have 2 different styles, which is really cool to see. So yes, we did get to see some prototypes. Will we see something further in the future? Well, I'll be pushing for that. So should you. It was really good to see. Again, this was a first for Carrera. Really great to see. It can only get better from here, and I do hope we get to see some more insight. But the answer to the question about prototypes, answered it perfectly. We got to see 3. So the next question was spares for Carrera. Now, I do get asked that a lot from the channel, and of course I did want to ask that question of Carrera, because some people don't know if they can get spares, where can they get them from. So I'm going to break this down in categories. If you don't know, with Carrera they do have a US side of the market, and they do have the Euro side of the market. So Carrera Austria, Germany, and Carrera America, and then the rest is kind of distributors. So Germany, Europe, the website, you can get tires, parts, meaning windshields, windscreen wipers, all that kind of stuff. Light kits, so if it's the digital car, if it has lights, you can get a replacement light kit. Axles, you can get that on the website for the European market. So for USA, I would reach out to the USA side of things. There is a USA Carrera to get your answers there, because they are ran individually, but they are the same company. UK, there is a Carrera UK, that's more of a sales side of thing. I will reach out to them and try and get an answer for the UK Carrera fans, because we have spoken before, and I will reach out to them again to see if there's a definitive answer around that, or do they just go through Germany like I would. We've got Australia, which is my country. I'll reach out to my distributor, which will then reach out to Carrera to get the parts that we need. Now, do keep in mind, a little bit of insight from Andreas, this is for tyres. When they get a make of car, when it's shipped out, it also comes out with replacement tyres at the same time. So if 3 or 4 people want tyres and they've run out of the stock they've got, they'll wait for the next shipment of cars to then get those tyres in, which makes sense on the business level. So when Carrera order a bulk of cars, it also comes with a bulk of spares at the same time, which makes it better for logistics, which makes a lot of sense. So just keep that in mind. So UK, I will find out. USA, Canada, of course, reach out to Carrera America. Europe is, of course, Carrera where I was, which is Carrera Europe, and Australia, reach out to your distributors. All other countries, reach out to your distributors and see if they can get them. If not, reach out to Carrera themselves. So the next question was track colour. Now, Carrera has the black track with the broken white line to replicate a road. To me, it looks good. There's a 2-part question here. We'll talk about recyclable first. Now, our hobby is very plastic. We have a lot of plastic. So I thought it was very important to ask Carrera, whilst they're alive, what are they doing about sustainability? This is the big push at the moment. And yes, our hobby is very plastic. So it might have sounded like a bit of a, why are we asking this question? But in the future, we don't want this hobby to be taken away, because we are using a lot of plastic. And if these companies aren't thinking forward, we might lose the hobby without it being our fault, because governments, countries might say, that's it on plastic, we're wasting too much. It is good to hear some of the stuff from Carrera from their factory in China. Any spares, offcuts, they do recycle back into product again, which is really good to see. Of course, once the track comes out, it's up to you what you do with it. But when it comes to manufacturing it in the factory, they are thinking, of course, recyclable, reuse. Comes the color, they are staying with the black. When it comes to the white line, they are staying with the white line. There's a good reason they say that. They may in the future do some special pieces without the white line, but they want it to connect with all the other product that's out there, which is, there is a lot of track out there. So it is staying black. They are thinking about recyclability, which hopefully gets the conversation started inside the hobby, because we do want this to be around for a very long time. And let's face it, our hobby is very plastic. So the next question came from some of the viewers, accessories, whether it's digital or analog. The answer was looking at it, but nothing yet, and never say never. And that was from Andreas. So there's a lot of stuff that he obviously can't talk about, but that was the answer we got. So on accessories, looking at it, but never say never. And that was a pretty easy question to answer. Next up, a big one, F1 cars for the 132 range for Carrera, the current mold, the current shape. Very good answers here, some promising answers here, and some stuff that I did not know may or could happen. Firstly, there is current 2023 or 2022, 2023 cars in Carrera Go. We do know that. There is 4 liveries in the Go range, which is 143, but it is a generic car. Now, the quickest answer is right now, no. We've got a pretty flat no, but with some positives behind it. There is market research going into how popular F1 is, and should we do 132 cars in the future? And this is coming from Carrera in the 132 range. Currently, the reason they haven't done it, and these are some really, really good answers for the consumer, is they don't want to just make a universal mold that they slap a livery on, because it's not fair to you as a collector and a racer, and it's not true to the car. So they want to be able to keep up to date with the cars and produce as many of the single cars they can to wear the livery that is meant to be on the car. So in a nutshell, try not to make a universal car. Let's make it true to whether it's Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, whatever the licensing they can get, which I think is a really smart answer. And it's good for us to know that they are thinking about the consumer, because yes, they probably could make a universal car, slap some liveries on it, and that'd be your next range for 6 years. Another thing is, I guess the market research will bring it to the next gen car. I will be thinking if, and this is my personal opinion, if we're going to see F1 cars, I reckon it will be a next gen thing. So what I mean by that is the next full regulations by F1, because that's a change of car and then you can keep up the pace with the changing of wings and everything else. So I guess watch this space, the market research is happening. Secondly, historic. They have discussed about doing historic releases, which I did not know this until speaking to Andreas off camera, and we brought it up on camera. Of course, they've got majority of their old molds, the Carrera range, and there is some F1 cars in there, which I think from what I got, they were going to do that, but sales and other departments weren't happy on selling one of one car. I believe that's how he explained it. So you might have one car from 92, you might have one car from 87, and they don't just match up. And that's what I think Carrera on a whole is worried about, having continuity with the cars. If you make a current car and you have 4 of them, well, you have 4 cars to race. If we go historic with their molds, well, you're going to have a broken category. To me, does it worry me? No. I would love to see a Carrera vintage series, whether it's F1s, whether it's reviving some of their older models. That's what I would love to see. Let me know in the comments. I did discuss that off camera and on camera with Andreas. Let's watch this space. So we do know they've got the historic stuff. Will they do it? I guess it's up to us to push them. That was easily said than done. So the next question was a big one. Give us something for 2024, something we don't know about yet. And of course, Andreas couldn't give us the answer, but he gave us a really good hint. A race car series is coming back with the modern cars. We will find out with the Toy Fair in New York, which I believe is in September. So we will find out next month. Do I know? Yes. Will I tell you? No. Should you be excited? Yes, it's pretty cool. But you will find out next month. Really cool. So there you go. Something new, old from Carrera. So the next round of questions will be some random questions asked by the viewers on the night. I will go through them. Some will answer each other. The first one is hypercars. Will Carrera make hypercars? Very good answer from Andreas. They did do a LaFerrari. We can call that a hypercar. Many years ago, that didn't have I don't think any racing liveries. It had a couple of race colours they put on it, but when it comes to markability, there was no sellable race liveries for that car, which pretty much covers the hypercar range. Not many people go racing in hypercars, so you've got street colours, which for a marketing and sales, that doesn't really justify building that car, putting money into that mould, unless you want fantasy liveries. I guess if we want that, vote for it. But that was a good answer. So at the moment, no on the hypercars. That ticked off on the AMG 1, I think someone asked about. You know, that comes in, I think, 1 colour or 2 colours, but no one's racing that car, so there's no race liveries. And there was a couple other cars asked, will they be making it? It does cover that. If it's got racing liveries, they'll think about it, market research, but hypercars, no. LMP1 cars, they do have some older ones. Again, part of the historic release. Please do that, Carrera. Re-release these cars. It'd be really cool to see maybe 1 or 2 a year is a historic release series. Let's trademark that now. So again, LMP1 cars, they have done them. Will they do them in the future? Watch this space. There was no real answer on that one. Carrera Club, this is a big one. I can't get it, I don't believe, in Australia. At the moment, I believe it's Euro only, or wherever you can't get it, it isn't coming there at the moment. I will push for this hard to be released worldwide. I think Carrera Club should be a worldwide thing, like any other slot car manufacturer's club, but at the moment, it is just the European nation. So hopefully we can see it broadened. I will be pushing for that. Let me know if you will be. Next, the advent calendar. I didn't get this in Australia. I think it's Euro only. You might have got it in America. I don't know if you did, but it's Euro only. There was one that was postponed. The very first one was the Porsche 911 in red. If you don't know what it is, you build your own car. It's an advent calendar for Carrera. Really cool concept. The first one was a Porsche 911. The second was a golden Lola. And the third was supposed to be a Corvette, which has been postponed. Is it coming? I'm not sure, but it has been postponed. Adjustable power supply, very, very important question. Basic answer is no. Again, costs, adding it all into one, but he had a really good reason about the digital decoders. Now they're designed for 14.8 volts, 132 runs at 14.4, and the highest voltage you get for power is 18 from Carrera for the 124 cars. No is the basic answer. It's probably going to be not worth doing if the decoders are only meant to run 14.8. So in a nutshell, we said if you want to see smoke, we'll run as much power as you want, but at this stage, no. There you go. So the next question was digital accessories. An easy answer for this one is no, but look to the future, read between the lines. I'll leave it at that. They did disclose about the new wireless controller. It's losing the lithium battery for some good reasons. We are keeping the plunger, they said. They're keeping the plunger. There's going to be no aftermarket or upgradable pistol controllers. It's just going to be the ones that are available. With the wireless, they're dropping the lithium battery, replacing with AA's or AAA's. I can't remember which one he said. There's reasons for that: costs and logistics. When sending lithium batteries around the world, some countries do have some rules and regulations. Sometimes you need stickering, some documents. It is a lot harder to send lithium batteries around the world than standard, which is, I guess, if you're a business, that makes a lot of sense. And he also said, let me read what it says here. The wired controllers, there's something coming out with the wired controllers, and he smirked. So not just the wireless, there's an update to the wired controller coming too. So he was touching on it, then he didn't. If you want to see his reaction, watch the live stream, which is linked below. Carrera jumper piece, what does that mean? A piece of track that's already got the power jumpers connected. At the moment, Carrera sell jumper wire, so you can actually, if you run a big track like I used to, and I will be in the future, you can run power through your negative and positive to another part of the track to make sure that power is touching everywhere it can. No, again, costs. You still have to run something, and the easiest for them is to sell the wire that clips into underneath their track for you then to choose where you want to run it yourself. To me, that makes sense. I've never really thought about a jumper piece of track. I have used the wires and they do their job. So if you are wanting a Carrera jump piece, it's not coming. Controllers, again, there is no aftermarket controller coming. The plunger style is staying. No upgradable controllers, again, wireless and connected are going to be a thing still, and we did discuss those earlier in the earlier question. Next, we have digital decoders and the chips that go into your car. Will Carrera make different sizes to suit different cars? I believe that means manufacturers. They clearly said no. They don't obviously talk amongst other manufacturers on what shape their cars are going to be. So at the moment, I think they've got 3 different sizes. That's what's going to be available. And of course, they're building them for Carrera cars. So if a car does change in the Carrera range and it needs a new one, I dare say you'll see they'll make one to fit. So at the moment, it's the ones that you can already get. So next was another digital question, functions. So someone did ask about a rolling start function. Are they going to update the current digital software to incorporate some new ideas? The base question is no, they're not updating any functions. Again, look forward to the future. Secondly, how many cars can run? Currently, it's 6 132 cars digital and 4 124. Again, nothing's changing as it is. The digital will stay the same, but I guess watch this space for the future. Next question was Carrera Go Guide. Will there be an update or a replacement? At the moment, they have a plastic pin. No, there won't be a guide coming for a Carrera Go or a replacement part that you can affix to it. Another double to that is the digital 143. That is now definitely gone, and there won't be any future release of that he can see or he can answer about. So I don't believe digital 143 is coming back in the future. We had a car question that I can answer. Someone asked about the Ferrari 296 GT3 cars or car itself. He smiled. Again, if you want to see some of his expressions that sometimes answers the questions for you, check out the live. Next year, maybe, never say never. So if there is some cars that you're wanting to see, if you haven't watched the live, I always use face expressions. They sometimes tell you the answer. Check out the live and let me know what you think. Finish off with the last question. Carrera upgrades, meaning motors, wheels, etc. for their cars. This does sort of tap into one of the earlier questions. No. Aftermarket parts, they are very happy with the aftermarket world. Of course, check with your local shop to see what they stock for your car that you're wanting to upgrade, but that's the department they're not jumping into. To make sense of it all, their sales are 95% people who play with the toys and 5% who go racing. So that's who they've got to accommodate for, which does make business sense. Yeah. So that's a wrap on the follow-up video for Carrera's Q&A. If you haven't seen it, please check the link below. It was a lot of fun, and sometimes facial expressions will tell the story. And we did check out the rest of the 2023 range and some prototypes of the Lancia, which was really cool to see. The amount of detail that goes into making that model ×3 is quite incredible. Very big thank you to you at home. Without your support, Carrera would not invite me to do their very first live, and I am hoping to be a part of their future lives from Australia, but watch this space. And of course, I'm going to try and interview Andreas again in the future to try and keep it a norm. If you do want any questions asked, always email me and I'll try and get them across. But of course, I do really appreciate your support. It was quite exciting for me, and I'm very honoured to be the very first to do the live with Carrera. But as always, at THATSLOTCARGUYOZ on Instagram and YouTube. Cheers for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye.